If you look at modern websites and books about public speaking, the thing that they talk about first is anxiety. And the idea is that if you can just remove your anxiety, you will walk into the next speech or presentation or job interview and your words will magically flow. The problem I have with that approach is that, number one, it doesn't work, and number two, it doesn't really address the heart of what goes on during public speaking. So public speaking basically is when I have a bunch of stuff in my brain and my heart that I want to convey to your brain and heart. And I kind of have it prepared and memorized, and I've got to hit certain points in a certain order. And when I do that, I've got to do it in a way that connects with you. So if I'm focusing on my mood instead of how you hear things, that's a profound misstep. 2,000 years ago, Aristotle wrote the best and most authoritative book ever on public speaking, called The Art of Rhetoric. One of the chestnuts from his book says that the audience is the beginning and the end of public speaking. And what that means is that every decision you make about a speech has to begin not with how you feel, but with who your audience is. So to distill Aristotle's wisdom into tip number one, sit down before you start writing a speech and make a list of everything you can think of about the audience. How many people are going to be there? How old are they? What race and gender and religion are they? What time of the day will it be? What is the occasion for your speech? Why did they bring you in there? What do they know about you and your topic? So really, this should not take more than 5 minutes, and it should not stress you out at all. And it's much more fun to do that than to sit around being anxious. Tip number two is to define your purpose in speaking to them. So write down in a single sentence, as a result of my talk, my audience will know such and such and do such and such. So if you're running for office, the reason for your talk is to explain your policies and to get the people to vote for you. If you're giving a funeral speech or a wedding speech, you want your audience to walk away with new and emotionally endearing information probably about the newlyweds or the departed. Either way, whatever kind of speech you're giving, if you know your purpose, the best thing about it is it allows you to understand right away what to keep and what to cut from your speech. A lot of times you might have great ideas, great information, great scientific studies, a great joke, but it doesn't really serve this purpose. When you stay on target and you stay on your purpose, you'll find that you don't ever feel like you're babbling, you get far less anxious, and your audience gets a far clearer message from you. So my third and final tip comes from Aristotle, and it's a weird one, but it's profound and it's super interesting. Aristotle said that people listen to other people for one reason and one reason alone: for their own happiness. So when you give a speech and you think it's about you, or you think it's about your material, your information, the audience is looking at something slightly different. They're looking at you and your information for clues about how it will make them happier. So don't just tell them why your tax policy is great, tell them how and why it's going to make them happy. Each of these tips on their own is super simple, super obvious, super easy to understand. And if you apply them once, twice, 3 times, 5 times, they will start to be second nature. I guarantee you, if you apply these principles, which have nothing to do with anxiety or confidence, you will in the end feel a lot less anxious and a lot more confident.